writers. In class today during writing, we started talking about what third grade notebook writers do and don't do in their notebook. And we made a list together of all of the do's and don'ts. Here's the list that my class talked about. So we said that third grade notebook writers do fill up their notebooks with lots of true stories, and they tell what the writer did first, next, and after. They do put the date on each page. They do have the people in the stories talk. They do write lots of sentences. They do tell if writing in home or if they're writing at home or school. And they do write about 1 page per day using lots of punctuation. We talked about how notebook writers do not just write one kind of story. They don't doodle or draw. They don't skip pages or jump all over the place. They don't write too messy, and they don't erase too much. And they don't trash the notebook or treat it poorly. So thinking about what third grade notebook writers do and don't do. Today for your assignment, I want you to start making some goals as a writer. Okay, it's not enough to just start doing learning without having a goal in mind. We always want to know what we're working towards. And if we have too many goals in mind, we get overwhelmed and we can't choose just one. So your job today is going to be to choose 2 writing goals that you can focus on in the beginning of your third grade writing to really get better as a writer. We're going to look at a checklist together to help choose those 2 goals. The checklist we're going to use is a second grade checklist. But that's because a lot of the skills that we started learning in second grade, we didn't quite master yet. So our job is to master all of those skills before we keep going to the third grade skills. So let's take a look together at the second grade checklist of skills and see how we're doing with each one. As I read each of the skills to you out loud, I want you to give a thumbs up if that's something that you already do really well. I want you to give a thumb to the side if that's something that you do some part of the time, but not all the time. And I want you to give a thumbs down if it's something you don't do yet. Now, of course, you're going to be doing this to your screen. So there might not be anybody to see your thumbs, but it's going to help your brain with the connection of doing it in real life. So I want you to really do the thumbs up, thumbs middle, and thumbs down as I read to help check in with yourself about where you're at with each of those goals. After we read this checklist together, we're going to decide on some goals together and write them in our notebook. Watch how I do this now.
Okay, so here are our second grade narrative writing goals. Remember, these are the skills that you worked on in second grade, but it's okay if you didn't master all of them because we're going to choose the ones we're still working on for our goals now. So I'm going to read each one out loud, and I want you to make a thumbs up, a thumbs sideways, or a thumbs down, depending on if you are already doing it really well, if you're starting to do it but maybe not all the time, or if you're not doing it yet. Here we go. Number 1, overall, I wrote about one time when I did something. So that means if you write about just one time, a story about one time, like one event or one thing that happened, not a whole long time or a lot of different times. Lead. I thought about how to write a good beginning, and I chose a way to start my story. I chose the action, talk, or setting that would make a good beginning. Transitions. I told the story in order by using words such as when, then, and after. Ending. I chose the action, talking, or feeling that would make a good ending. Organization. I wrote a lot of lines on a page and I wrote across a lot of pages. So that just means, are you keeping your work organized and telling your story in order? Elaboration. I tried to bring my characters to life with details, talk, and actions. So that's all about how well you're writing your characters. Are you giving your characters lots of life with details? Remember, you're giving a thumbs up if it's something you do really well. You're giving a thumb to the side if it's something you're starting to do, but you could maybe get better. And you're giving a thumbs down if it's something that you don't do yet. Craft. I chose strong words that would help readers picture my story. So that means you're using good, strong, juicy words that help somebody get a movie in their mind about what's going on in the story. And then we have our language convention, so spelling. To spell a word, I used what I knew about spelling patterns. So I used spelling chunks that I know. I spelled all of the word wall words correctly and used the word wall to help me figure out how to spell other words. So I know at home you might not have a word wall, but if you're generally using a lot of the regular second and third grade words, and you're using the words you do know to help you spell the words you don't know, then that would be a thumbs up for that goal. Punctuation. I used quotation marks to show what characters said. When I used words such as can't and don't, I used an apostrophe. And the apostrophe is this little symbol that comes before the T on those words. So if you're using that symbol in your words, then you get to do a thumbs up.
Think about the goals that I read that you put a thumbs up on, the goals that I read that you put a thumbs to the side, and the goals that I read that you put the thumbs down. We're going to really focus on the thumbs to the side and the thumbs down. The ones that I read that you put a thumbs up on, you're already doing great, so keep on doing that. But the ones that you put a thumbs to the side or a thumbs down are goals that we really want to focus on getting better at this year. So the two that I put one thumb to the side and one thumb down when I was reading this list. The thumb that I put to the side was this goal here for elaboration. I tried to bring my characters to life with details, talk, and actions. I put my thumb to the side on that one because I do that sometimes. I really do try to write interesting characters, but I know that I could probably do better. I could probably give them more things to say and more actions to do. So I put my thumb to the side. I'm going to choose that as one of my goals to focus on. The other goal that I put my thumb down on, because I'm not doing it at all yet, is using quotation marks to show what the character said. So this goal down here near the bottom. I never use quotation marks. In fact, I'm not even sure I remember what quotation marks are. So that was a thumbs down for me. It's something that I really need to work on getting better at. So those are going to be the two goals that I choose to focus on for third grade writing at the beginning of the year. I'm going to focus on using quotation marks to show what the characters said and bringing my characters to life with details, talk, and actions. And I decided on those because those are the ones that I put my thumb to the side or my thumb down. If you have more than two goals that you put your thumbs to the side or thumbs down, just choose two that sound interesting to you to focus on. I don't want you to choose more than two because that would be too many and you might get overwhelmed. Okay, our last job now is to write these goals into our writing notebook. So watch how I do that.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to write my goals that I've chosen into my writing notebook. I've got my goals printed out here and highlighted to make it easy for me. You're going to have this checklist on Canvas for you to look at. So you may not be able to print it out, but it will be posted in Canvas in the same assignment page as this video. So you can look at it the whole time you're working on this. I'm gonna open up my notebook to this page after the chart that we did in class. We made this What Do Third Grade Notebook Writers Do and Don't chart in class, so you're gonna go to the next page after that. I've already written one of my goals here. I'm gonna write the second one with you now. So I titled my page My Third Grade Writing Goals. So you're gonna wanna title your blank page with the same thing, My Third Grade Writing Goals. You can go ahead and pause the video now to write that. When you're done writing, you can keep playing the video. Then you're gonna write a number 1 over here in the margin. The margin is the space right to the left of the pink line. We like to put our numbers or our bullet points in the margin to keep our lists organized. So I've written number 1 here on the left side of the pink line. And then I wrote the goal that I have. The first goal I had was in the elaboration section of the checklist, so I wrote elaboration first, just to keep it organized. And then I wrote what the goal is, but I put it in my own words. So on the checklist it said, I tried to bring my characters to life with details, talk, and actions. And when I thought about what that really meant, I thought to myself, really, this goal is about writing good characters. And that's what's important. So I put that in my own words here so that it would mean more to me and I would be able to remember it more easily. I wrote, I write good characters with strong actions and talking, because those are the things I want to focus on to make my characters better. Now I'm going to write my second goal. And remember, you can pause this video anytime you need to. If you need time to catch up. So my second goal, I'm gonna skip a line between my first and my second one so that it stays nice and neat. And then I wrote number 2 over here in the margin again. My second goal, if I look at my checklist, was in the category of punctuation. So I'm gonna write punctuation here to start with, and I can check my checklist for the right spelling. And then the goal says, I used quotation marks to show what characters said. So I'm gonna put that in my own words so that it's meaningful to me. Basically, it's just asking me to use quotation marks correctly. So I'm gonna say, I use quotation marks when my characters speak. This goal is pretty simple already the way it's written here, so if you just want to copy the same thing, that would make sense too. It's really simple already. So now I have my 2 writing goals written together on one page right at the beginning of my notebook so that it's really easy for me to check back when I'm working on writing. I have both goals written with a line in between and a clear title on the top. Once you've written your 2 goals and you feel good about them, you're done with this assignment for the day. Your teacher is going to want to hear what your goals are, so have them ready to go next time you meet in class.
All right, third graders, I hope you feel really good about the writing goals you've made for yourself. Now you have some really specific skills you can focus on practicing to be better writers in 3rd grade. Remember that your teacher's going to ask to share them with her, so make sure you have them ready next time in class. See you later.